せいぜい頑張れ。
Welcome back to another My Hero Academia final season breakdown, this time going over episode 9 titled Epilogue, the Hellish Todoroki Family Final. Of course, we're going to be breaking down the episode as well as the entire season, going over all of the hidden Easter eggs and references, so be sure to Detroit, smash that like button, and subscribe to the Todoroki channel so that you won't miss any My Hero Academia final season breakdowns. Now, the episode begins with the aftermath of Deku's final smash. A week has passed since Deku's victory, and in the United States we see Meryl doing the weather, where it's revealed that Washington was going to have a week of stormy weather, but the entire country is now going to have just clear and sunny skies on top of strong winds due to Deku's final smash. The smash still being felt across the world an entire week later. Salam from Egypt makes a cameo appearance in the episode and is seen helping Cementos and the others, showing that heroes from all over the world finally had come to help rebuild Japan after the war. The brother and little girl with the Endeavor pouch that were saved by Ochako during the Paranormal Liberation War, along with other citizens, are finally able to return back home. Turns out, with the wars finally being over, the United States and other nations showed up with heroes and resources to help Japan. It's revealed later in the episode that Japan's rapid recovery was only made possible thanks to Principal Nezu's behind-the-scenes maneuvering, using his global renown status when meeting with the United Nations. Big Red Dot, the pro hero from Singapore, being the second big hero to make a cameo appearance in the episode, as both Salam and Big Red Dot were originally from the World Heroes Mission movie. Ochako's dad, who owns a construction company, is also getting a lot of work and money, most likely, from helping the heroes rebuild. And we know that early on in the series that Ochako's parents weren't doing so well, as their construction company didn't have a lot of business at the time. Plenty of heroes are shown helping, and we get the biggest cameo of the episode that is somewhat also a huge spoiler for the end of My Hero Academia Vigilantes. So if you don't want to know anything about this character or why they haven't made an appearance until now, then please skip ahead in the video. There will be timestamps in the description below. So the pro hero that does make an appearance in the episode is the Sky Crawler, aka Koichi Himawari, the main protagonist of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, as he is seen being one of the heroes helping rebuild Japan. Now, for those wondering where the hell Koichi was at the entire time Deku and the others were fighting All for One in Shigaraki, at the end of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, after his big battle with number 6, Koichi is in a whole bunch of trouble for doing hero work without a license. Makoto and Captain Celebrity make Koichi sign a contract, making Koichi an official hero and sidekick of Captain Celebrity's. The debt for the damages caused during his fight, on top of impending lawsuits, forced him to leave Japan and work as a hero in the United States as the Skycrawler. So with him being in New York during the events of My Hero Academia and the death of Star and Stripes causing the entire world to not send heroes over to Japan, Koichi was stuck in America, having no way to help Deku and the others until after the war was pretty much over. As we see the heroes helping, it's stated that before the advent of the Extraordinary, restoration on this grand of a scale would have taken over a decade to complete. But with so many capable quirks devoted to help, it shouldn't be long before everything goes back to normal. Just before the narration could finish, the Yoshi Doctor says it won't ever be back to normal. And even though the Yoshi Doctor is talking about Bakugo's arm in this scene, this was a subtle way of letting us know that the world of My Hero Academia and Hero Society won't be the way it was before, thanks to Shigaraki changing how the world will go on to view things, and Deku's actions motivating society to lend out a helping hand to those in need instead of sitting idly by for a hero to come help. The Yoshi Doctor explains that a great number of bone segments had to be joined and set during surgery on Bakugo's arm, and he isn't able to guarantee that rehabilitation will grant Bakugo the use of his arm back. The doctor even offers to give him the Mirko treatment in cutting off the arm and going with a prosthetic. When the doctor references Mirko in the manga, we actually get to see Mirko when she was in the hospital. Bakugo refuses because his quirk comes from his palms, and he thinks about how Deku never even had a quirk to begin with, so going that route would be like giving up on his quirk when someone like Deku would have made the most of it regardless of the situation, and Bakugo opts for rehabilitation instead. The doctor explains that Bakugo needs to calm down as his biggest problem is his heart. He is only alive thanks to what Edshot had done in putting him back together, and is honestly flabbergasted that Bakugo was able to keep on fighting, so for now what he needs is bed rest. We switch over to Deku and All Might sharing a room as the two recover from their injuries. All Might asks how Deku is doing, and Deku says that he's getting back some feeling in his arms. With a look of utter disappointment, Deku says that he couldn't save Tenko's life, a feeling that carries over from his interaction with Tenko at the end of the last episode, where he is visibly disappointed and filled with grief over not being able to save Shigaraki and needing to kill him in the end. Deku states that even after reaching Tenko's heart and shattering his hatred, Tenko remained the League of Villains leader to the very end. All Might, having gone through a near-death experience himself, wants Deku to ask himself what was the look on Tenko's face in the end. Deku remembers the moment he and Tenko shared, and we see the rest of their interaction as when Deku says, "You've destroyed enough," to Tenko, Tenko states, "Oh yeah? That depends on what you people decide to do tomorrow," smiling, telling Deku to make sure he does his damn best, letting Deku know that it's now up to him to change and lead society down the right direction, preventing the creation of another villain like him. All Might says that if Tenko didn't still look like he was that crying child, then Deku did save Tenko in the end by saving his soul. All Might knows Deku had completed his duty to One for All, as he felt Deku transfer the quirk to Shigaraki. Deku confirms that he did, while also confirming that he still has the embers of One for All too. Bakugo barges into the room just in time to hear what Izuku had said, and shocks Bakugo to his core. He remembers the time the two of them got the rare All Might card, and asks if it's true that he is quirkless again. Deku confirms that it's true, but since he never had a quirk to begin with, he can't be too broken up about it since he made the choice to transfer the quirk himself. His short time with One for All gave him a glimpse of the most amazing dream of being a hero, and he is happy that he got to live it. Bakugo thinks about his time with Deku and their rivalry, and he begins to tear up. The revelation hitting Bakugo extremely hard, since in the last episode he told Deku to not let me surpass you because he wanted Deku to be his rival forever, and wasn't aware that Deku had given up One for All. Bakugo even says, "What the hell did I do to you?" feeling full of guilt over everything he had done to Deku in the past. He thought the both of them would be competing with each other, and Bakugo would be chasing behind Deku for the rest of their lives. Deku tries to calm down Bakugo, reassuring him that he still has the embers, so for now they can still compete for the time being. All Might mentions how much the two of them have grown since the day they met, and Deku begins to cry as All Might says when he saw him diving into action during the sludge villain attack, Deku was already a great hero, but now the way he is encouraging everyone to get back on their feet, he has become a great hero to the rest of the world. As for Bakugo, All Might makes sure he never has to feel guilt over being the one to end All Might's career by saying that it was Bakugo who made sure that he was still around, saving him from All for One, allowing him to be able to say these words to them. All Might finishes his words of encouragement by saying, "To my pair of great heroes, I say thank you," thanking them for their sacrifices and everything they had done to save the world. The two of them begin to smile as Deku in narration says that their tale doesn't end here. While the fight may be over, until they lead the way to a bright future, they have to go even further beyond for real change. Here we see Shoto, a disappointed and guilt-filled Ochako holding her stomach where Toga had stabbed her, and a now recovered Deku along with his classmates looking up at a destroyed UA as him along with the rest of them head back to school. In June, the third years at UA are finally graduating. We see the big three get their high school diplomas as present mic DJs making this UA graduation feel like one giant celebration. Muriel, representing the graduating class, does the big commencement speech, surprising everyone with the fact that he didn't start off his speech with a stupid joke. He says they all lost so much and gained nothing in return. Typically, heroes fight to bring a negative situation back to square one to bring back normalcy for the public. General Studies, the support course, and business course came together to fight the good fight, and despite all that, they have not went back to square one just yet. The 3 years they spent at UA will be put towards that purpose, as graduation was not the goal. A world without smiles and humor has no bright future, referencing Sir Night-Eye's worldview of making people laugh. They seek a positive world where people can live their lives without worry, and that is what they should be racing toward, a better tomorrow rather than a better today. Muriel then makes a grand exit off of the stage, ending his graduation speech, tributing it to his mentor, Sir Night-Eye. After graduation, we see Class 1A are now officially Class 2A, and their teacher is once again Aizawa. Due to everything that went on with the war, the class is stuck with Aizawa for another year. Aoyama enters the class, officially announcing his departure from UA, as he wants to atone for having been the UA traitor, and once he is done, he will once again go down the path of becoming a hero worthy of standing beside them all with his head held high. With the class now having one less student, Shinso enters the class, taking Aoyama's spot as the new member of Class A, who also has his provisional license. Fuwa enters the conversation, stating that the second and third years will be joining the greater restoration effort for the time being, and she will be in charge of organizing them all. On top of that, they will be involved with the nationwide effort to maintain law and order. They made it past All Might's retirement and then the wars, all battles that will wind up in the history books, but there is sure going to be a period of chaos that follows these events that those books don't talk about. Shoto states that All for One was born during a chaotic time period when there was no symbol. Fuwa makes her exit after informing the class that it was her entire class that were the ones that Aizawa had expelled a few years back, giving them a taste of death, which made them realize why they should be heroes. After school, the class walked together, talking about there being new first year students starting tomorrow, and how everything seems to be moving a little too fast. Sero pokes fun at Ochako's speech that she did back in season 6 about having some time to rest. Deku, wanting to talk with Ochako, calls out to her to see how she's doing, but she instantly tries to avoid talking about stuff and decides to talk about Deku's hair and how they had to cut his hair because of his injuries, and she hopes that his hair grows back. The conversation switches over to Tokoyami's new hairstyle, and we see Ochako laughing as Deku can see through her facade. Todoroki is asked if he will make it to Aoyama's farewell party, and he lets them know that he will, but he has to go alone with his family to see Dabi. At the facility, Shoto's family all say to each other that none of them had to come, and Shoto tells them all that each of them had came out of a sense of duty. The guards tells the family that Toya can only speak for a few minutes a day, as Toya is now on a slow march towards his death. We see Toya in a chamber that is not only keeping him held in captivity, but also keeping him alive for the time being. Toya looks down to see his whole family, but doesn't want to be treated like some sort of tourist attraction that they can all just stare at. Endeavor lets him know that he will be retiring from being a hero. This was always going to be his goal after the war, but now that he is in a wheelchair, unable to move on his own, it makes it even easier for him to give it all up. He states that Endeavor, the hero, is dead and burned away thanks to Dabi's flames being fiercer than anything he's ever faced. Toya gives his condolences and tells his father to quit trying to play nice now that it's all over, calling him a coward. Endeavor, having a heart-to-heart with Toya, agrees, knowing that Toya had always kept a close eye on him, and even though that's what Toya wanted from him to watch him, Endeavor never did. Despite what was said, the fact is his Hellflame quirk is what is burning inside of Toya. Endeavor here referencing what Deku had said to Dabi during the Paranormal Liberation War. Every day he watches the video of Toya denouncing him, and from now on he will come come visit him every single day to talk to him and watch him just like he always wanted. He knows it's far too late, but he wants to talk to Toya, and we see that both Toya and Endeavor are shown to both be healed but heavily scarred from their battles, representing their father-son relationship to be heading down a path where they can finally heal on together and move forward. Toya's heart rate begins to elevate, as this is exactly what Toya had been wanting to hear from his father for so long. Endeavor wants to talk with his whole family, making good use of the time that Shoto was able to give them all. If Toya or any of them still hate him, then he wants them to speak their mind. Fuyumi and Rei want to tell Toya so much, but with his heart rate going through the roof, the guard tells them that they need to let him rest for today. Before they leave, Shoto asks Toya what his favorite food is, but doesn't get an immediate answer. When they begin to walk away, Toya tells Shoto that his favorite food is soba, surprising Shoto as that is also his favorite food, finally beginning their bond as brothers. Toya remembers their battle in Cameo and how Shoto had told him that they were going to talk whether he liked it or not, because he wanted to get to know him, and Toya begins to cry, saying out loud that he was sorry for everything he had done to Shoto. Outside, Natsu tells his family he is done with everything and how his feelings about Endeavor hasn't changed and wants nothing to do with him. He will be getting married, but there won't be a wedding, and Endeavor won't get to meet his wife. They all took responsibility over Toya and had received the punishment and believes that this should be enough. Endeavor lets them know that he will be making amends and apologizing for his sins for the rest of his life, whether or not they are around to see it or not. He will shield them from whatever fallout comes from the media to the best of his ability, because if there is a reason he survived the war, then that has to be why. This was the hell he chose when he took Dabi up on his offer to dance. Natsu shows respect to Endeavor, thinking for the first time in his life his father was a badass just for that. Natsu then takes Fuyumi and Shoto back, and just as they were leaving, Shoto calls out to his parents, telling them that he will be okay because his classmates will be there for him and because he can now become the man he wants to be. Endeavor's driver and sidekicks are there for him, and Rei lets Endeavor know that even in the hell that they are in, he still has people watching him. And we see that Hawks had texted them to make sure that they were okay and if they needed anything. Switching over to Hawks, Endeavor texts him back thanking him, and if he does end up needing something from him, he will make sure to ask. It's then revealed that Hawks is now the president of the Hero Public Safety Commission. The question of how they will all change things for the better lingers over Hawks, and he makes a call to Mr. Mera. Now, this episode adapted 3 chapters, them being chapters 424, 425, and 426. This episode was great, easing us in for the final 2 episodes. Let me know your thoughts on the 9th episode of My Hero Academia's final season. Let me know everything in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit, smash that like button, and if you are new to the Todoroki channel, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so that you don't miss any My Hero Academia final season breakdowns. With that said, I'll see you all in the next one.